Okay, hear me out. The Jedi believe they are the defenders of the Republic and its democracy.
My allegiance is to the Republic, to democracy!
I mean, a lot of people in Star Wars say they love democracy.
I love democracy.
But as we all know, what one says oftentimes does not reflect what one thinks. What one thinks might not even be what one believes, because we lie to ourselves all the time. Democracy is a fickle thing. It's one of the strongest political systems in the world, but at the same time, it's also one of the most fragile. It takes a great amount of empathy and understanding to run a successful democracy. It's one of the few systems that benefit from having an educated, financially stable, and independent populace instead of one that is controlled and suppressed. It's also a government system that requires leaders to be of great character and also fight for that democracy over their own personal benefit. Ideally, democracy is about patience, it's about compromise, it's about respect and open-mindedness. It's about seeing the opposite side not as your enemy, but as checks and balances to your own extremes and biases. A democracy is for optimists. It's for people who want to believe in their fellow citizens. But most importantly, democracy is a form of government in which people have the authority to choose who governs them. So how do the Jedi Order fit into this system? Well, first, the Jedi are technically a part of the federal government. They receive funding from them alongside substantial logistical and material support. The Jedi work alongside the Judicial Department. This is the Republic's version of the entire federal court system, along with the CIA, FBI, and any enforcement agencies all rolled up into one department. The Jedi hold the power to kill and negotiate in the name of the Republic, yet there are no checks and balances on them. There is no way to hold the Jedi accountable until they are kicked out of the Order. The process of kicking a Jedi out of the Order is determined by the High Council of the Jedi Order and not by some independent third-party watchdog group. This alone is not an affront to democracy. It does show us, however, a rather troubling truth about the Jedi. They are an entity that is tasked with self-policing. And as we all know, any organization which is not beholden to anyone else or checked by anyone else can begin abusing their power and misbehaving. What's special about the Jedi Order is that there is a sense of implied morality associated with this organization. Many citizens in the galaxy, along with politicians, view the Jedi as paragons of righteousness. Individuals like Finis Valorum consider the Jedi as close allies, both strategically and politically. Other senators like Bail Organa and Padme Amidala also had close relations with the Jedi that went beyond professional. Some individuals in the Senate even worshipped the Force and the Jedi as if they were some type of cultists. One has to wonder how much partisan politics played a part in how people viewed the Jedi. We knew that there was factionalism in the Galactic Senate. You had the core faction who fought for large federal government centered around the core, and then you had the Loyalist faction who supported Supreme Chancellor Palpatine and his push for militarization. Now, because the Jedi's behavior is not placed in check by popular votes or some kind of regulatory agency, it becomes troubling when the Jedi put their political support behind a certain candidate that could quickly swing the balance of power. Generally speaking, the Jedi avoided politics, especially during the Golden Age up until the Clone Wars, but during the Old Republic period, they would oftentimes meddle with the political system, and sometimes the Jedi would even hold the office of the Supreme Chancellor for multiple terms. The Jedi get involved in politics again during the Jedi coup attempt against Chancellor Palpatine. Clearly, the Jedi aren't capable of staying neutral, and assuming that any organization can and just trusting them is probably not a good idea. We see Order 66 mainly from the point of the Jedi and supporters of, the Jedi cause. But if you really take a look at it, Palpatine did very little wrong, well, at least publicly. Supreme Chancellor Palpatine was elected by the Senate, representatives of the people. Every emergency power that he took on was more or less given to him. The amendment to the Galactic Constitution that allowed Palpatine to serve more terms was voted in by the Senate. The Military Creation Act and the formation of the Grand Army of the Republic was put forth by Junior Representative Jar Jar Binks and passed by the Senate. There was no foul play in either one of these situations, and there was no foul play in any future amendments to the Galactic Constitution. This was just pure political theater, and Palpatine did a pretty good job at manipulating the system in a legal way to support his cause. The only reason why Mace Windu and 3 other Jedi Masters confronted Chancellor Palpatine in his office was that they suspected that he was a Sith Lord. As members of the Judicial Department, do Jedi have the power to remove the Chancellor from office? I don't know. Was accusing Palpatine of being an adherent to some ancient religion enough to arrest him? In the past, the Republic has had more negative views on the Sith because of the constant destruction and warfare they brought with them. But are there rules stating that a Sith cannot become Chancellor of the Republic if they are voted in? It seems like once again the Jedi are only acting in their own interests and completely ignoring the Galactic Constitution and not really going through the right method of removing a Chancellor from his elected position. If the Jedi had a case against Palpatine that could lead to his removal, like for instance proof that he was corrupt or had ties to the Separatist Alliance High Command, they should have brought that information to the Senate and have them work on removing him from office. Imagine, for instance, in America, you had this religious group, that's fictional of course, who believe that the president is a Satanist and potentially a ginger. Now imagine instead of lobbying for that president to be voted out of office, this group went and tried to physically remove him from office with guns and weapons. The majority of the country would be really pissed off at this small group, and they would rightly be scared of them. To make matters worse, during the Golden Age of the Republic, the Sith had been gone for 1,000 years, so there wasn't an established threat or wide public awareness about them. They were essentially a legendary organization and long dead, so the Jedi claiming that Palpatine was a Sith would probably not be understood by most people in the galaxy. It might have seemed like a good idea for the Jedi to storm Palpatine's office and try to remove him forcibly, or in Mace Windu's case, attempt to kill him, but ultimately they played right into Palpatine's hand and justified Order 66. Even the creation of the contingency plan and Order 66 had some justification because there was literally nothing that could control the Jedi in case they started going rogue, which is exactly what they did. By attacking Palpatine directly without even, talking to the other branches of the government, the Jedi are essentially acting illegally. And I think most of the galaxy would support Palpatine's view on this. While religions have been responsible for shaping many of the individuals who have created democratic governing systems, the most resilient democratic government systems separate church and state. That's because religion and government systems both are belief systems in their own way. In democracy, the Constitution and representative power of the people are worshipped in the same way religious followers will worship their God, and in the same way the Jedi will worship the Force. Most belief systems do challenge each other, especially when you have a lot of fundamentalists. A religious fundamentalist will follow their God's will, even if it means the destruction of other religions. A fundamentalist who believes in the Republic will be okay with having a Sith Lord in the office, even though he clearly is an evil individual. The thing they care about is the fact that he came through the system legally, and if he needs to be removed, that will also be done legally. Fundamentalists are usually a problem, and that's because they lack flexibility and the ability to compromise. But they are also needed at the same time to preserve the core values of a belief system. As belief systems interact with one another, there's a constant clash between the fundamentalists and the more open-minded individuals who are willing to at least absorb some other ideas. The Jedi's fundamentalist view on the Force and the Sith is not universally believed in the Republic, and by carrying out an arrest of Palpatine, they are in fact enforcing their own belief system on the entire Republic. Now, the Republic has had a very unorthodox relationship with the Jedi since the beginning of time. And this is mostly because the Jedi are terrific guardians and defenders of the peace. They were also universally seen as reasonable and just individuals. Their entire religion is based on self-regulation and self-control. So I guess in a way the Republic did adopt the beliefs of the Jedi into their government system by unconditionally supporting them. And that the Jedi have also adopted the Republic Constitution as something worthy to protect. But in this specific instance concerning Palpatine, there is a clash between the more higher held beliefs of the Jedi religion when compared to the Republic's Constitution. The core issue has always been the Jedi's infatuation with the Sith. Although the Sith are generally a chaotic and terrible faction, the Jedi have gone out of their ways multiple times to start up conflicts with them, oftentimes against the best interest of the Republic. From a pragmatic point of view, this is probably why the Jedi and Republic relationship was always doomed to fail. Clearly, lines needed to be made for the relationship between the Jedi and the Republic to work. The Jedi should have been treated like a religion and a paramilitary force that does not represent the interests of the Republic or the state. By being separate, the Jedi and the Republic could continue functioning without clashing with one another. A lot of people criticize Palpatine for carrying out Order 66, but ultimately the Jedi were incompatible with the Republic and its democratic values. And I guess he was the only one who could really see this because he was so against the Jedi in the first place, but it's something that probably should have happened a long time ago. Because we have to remove this sense that the Jedi were, this moral organization and the Sith were evil. The reality is, if the Jedi never started fighting against the Sith in the first place, the Republic could have avoided many massive and terrible wars. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button down below so you don't miss out on the rest of our awesome content. As usual, thanks for joining us today. If you're watching this, you are Generation Tech.